All right. Go ahead and sit comfortably in your seat, your hands in your lap, your feet on the floor. Back resting against the backrest, but straight if you can, so that your back is stacked and upright and balanced. Your neck is balanced on the top of your shoulders, and you can let the rest of your body just relax and hang loose like clothing on a hanger. We'll ring the bell 3 times, and with each ring, take one deep breath in and out. And just breathe normally now. Just let your breath come and go. If the breath is long and deep, let it be long and deep. If your breath is short, let it be short. And you may have a long one right next to a short one, and that's all right. We're not trying to control our breath. We're just being present to it and watching it, feeling our belly start to rise as we breathe in and fall as we breathe out. Rise as we breathe in, fall as we breathe out. Sometimes this practice of sitting still and watching our breath, we talk about, sometimes it's practice because it also helps us be ready when we're agitated or in the midst of a busy life. Be able to do that pausing, to be aware of our surrounding, what's happening to us. If we're angry or anxious or feeling sad, we can return in those moments to the breath too. But it doesn't have to be a difficult moment. We picked up Josh for the group today, and he was cleaning some diamond willow for a table he's making. Got me thinking of all the different ways you can be with your breath and be with what you're doing. Link the two of them together. So if you're whittling the bark off of a diamond willow, being calm and deliberate about your actions means you're removing just as little as you need to reveal the beauty of the wood. Maybe you're a knitter. It can be a very meditative thing too. Feeling all the physical sensations, the needle or tool in your hand, your appreciation for a good and sharp tool, the feeling of calmness that may result if you're doing something like knitting, or excitement if you're painting and you suddenly have an inspiration or an error that reveals itself to you that you can turn into an inspiration. And there's so many opportunities to do that. We have a sculptor and a painter and a crafter here, a woodworker. All of those ways are ways to link together your breath. It's almost a little bit of a advanced practice, you could say. It can be easy when you're sitting still in a quiet room to just be present, to feel the sensations in your body, to watch your breath, to feel your belly rise as you breathe in and fall as you breathe out. Of course, we don't do this to shut our minds off. That almost never happens. We can use breath if we're obsessing about something. I always suggest if you're having trouble sleeping because your mind is racing, focus on the breath. It makes that megaphone of the mind a little quieter. And you can do the same thing with activity then, with sewing, knitting, sculpting, or other activities. Maybe you like to walk or run. Another good opportunity to feel your breath, to feel the sensations in your body, as though you're almost slowing down time, really because you're just paying attention to all the details of what you're doing. When you're walking, you can tie one breath into one step, particularly if you're not out walking around the park and it would look strange to walk that slowly. Breathe in as you put your foot forward. Feel the weight of your foot. Then feel the feeling of your heel touching the ground and the rest of your foot coming to rest. Breathing out as you do that, and as you shift the weight onto that front foot, then breathing in again as you start to raise that back foot. Bring it forward, again, feeling the heel touch the earth and your weight shift. Or walking more quickly or running. You might not tie it in so directly, but you can still connect your breath and the activity of your body. And especially if you're exercising, there's nothing better than abdominal breathing, which is what we learn when we feel our belly rise as we breathe in and fall as we breathe out. Any kind of activity, it's even when we're sitting, it increases the amount of oxygen in your blood because you're really taking in a full breath, absorbing it through your lungs into your bloodstream and getting it out to the tips of your toes, the tips of your fingers, all throughout your body. Or perhaps you like to cook. Or again, you can focus a little, let the thoughts about something besides what you're doing, focus on what you're doing, or even not needing to plan so much to think, well, I need to put the potatoes in the oven at the same time the soup is beginning to boil. You can think that and then let that go. And feel, again, the weight of your body on your feet. Making sure you take a stable position as you're peeling potatoes or cutting carrots. Asking yourself, is it really necessary that I chop this fast? Or am I just trying to look like that chef I see on TV and wish I could be that way? And is there really any kind of a rush or urgency about it? I swear, if you do that kind of cooking with mindfulness, you're also adding some love for the people you're cooking for, which, as your grandma can tell you, makes the food taste better. So you feel that heft of the knife in your hand, smell the carrots, the sweetness as you cut them. Hear the clunk of the knife against your wooden cutting board. And it brings you right in, so you zero in on what it is you're doing now rather than being someplace else. The other thing I can tell you is you're less likely to cut your finger if you're doing that. You're just fully involved with what you're doing. And you can relax into it too. It can be things we love. It can be painting or sculpting, woodworking, stringing beads. Or you can also pause to pay attention to what you're doing as you're brushing your teeth. Many years ago, one of the first times I was able to do a class in meditation, and the instructor told us he was going to give us some advice for kind of re-entry into the world, and we wouldn't have that class to go to each day. And his suggestion was just pay attention to what you're doing. And you might ask yourself as you're brushing your teeth, is it really necessary to hold the toothbrush this hard? I think you'll likely find the answer is no. When I worked as a carpenter, I found the less I muscled into holding that hammer to the point it was hardly in my hand. Just my hands followed the swing of the hammer in a sense. And it never flew out of my hands. But certainly the less I tried, the less I struggled to hold that thing so tight, the stronger was each strike on the head of the nail. The more likely I was to hit the nail rather than my thumb. And there are all kinds of good reasons to be present and paying attention to what you're doing. So pick just one thing this week. You don't need to try a number of things. Say, I'm going to be doing mindfulness and present with everything I do. Eating an apple, cleaning the kitchen sink, painting, sewing. You don't have to begin with such huge goals. Just pick the one thing you like to do. That makes it a little easier too if it's something you like rather than you may not enjoy cleaning the toilet, so you don't need to give your attention fully to that activity. We'll get to that. But choose one thing that you like to do and just try to bring your attention in the same way you bring it to your breath and your body and sitting still to that activity. It's wonderful to be able to pay attention when we're sitting still. But even better, it takes a little more skill to be still in the midst of being very active. So give that a try and let's check in next week. Or if you're listening to this recorded, check in with yourself at the end of the week and see what it's been like. See if you want to add another activity and then experiment with that. It's all just something we experiment with and try out and see if it works. But for today, I'll ring the bell once and you can take 3 deep breaths and open your eyes.